Space, the final frontier. Space Station Ashland sits on the edge of Federation space with its companion ship, the USS Dalamis Christian. The space around them is full of mystery and strange wonders, where secrets are kept and danger lurks around every corner. The crew of the Dalamis Christian must navigate treacherous waters as they work to protect the Federation. But as they peer into the unknown, they will discover that the line between friend and foe is not always clear. They will be tested like never before and will face challenges that will push them to their limits. Join us on this adventure as we explore the farthest reaches of space and uncover the hidden truths that lie within the shadows. Tabletop Journeys presents Star Trek: Preservations.
Welcome, travelers. My name is Lee Wanika, and this is Tabletop Journeys. I am here with one of our cast members of our actual play, Star Trek Preservations, so we can sit down, have a little fun, and play Star Trek Adventures RPG 2E. Today we are doing one of our quick treks, which is effectively a solo or smaller cast. It's, in this case, just one person doing a mission that is personal to their character, but still critical and important to the overall story. So with that said, I will turn us over to our action star today.
Hey all, I'm Adam Scaramella. I portray Commander Oshen Ch'zylrirh, and tonight should be fun just because the two of us have been on the call for about a half an hour already, and we're both pretty punchy, so this should be fun.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so without further ado, we are going to begin our Season 3 Quick Treks with Commander Oshen Ch'zylrirh, and this episode is entitled Echo Protocols. We open with a personal log from our commander.
Personal log. Stardate 59648-8584. I'm on my way back to Saltec 4. Ish is apparently there. And if I know him, he never left. Probably wouldn't let go of the damn bar. You'd think that one of these days he would realize he needs to stop being so damn stubborn. Who am I kidding? This is pretty much the same thing as when he lied to me about going after that Orion. I wonder if his wife knows that he lost his eye getting it back. I know she blames me for letting him go alone, even if I did go after him. What has he gotten himself into this time?
Were you taking one of the specialty ships or just a standard runabout from Aslan Station?
I don't have a good idea of why I'm being called, so I'm not sure I want to attract a lot of attention. I probably would be in a standard runabout if I could not obtain some other method of transportation there.
Okay, you could pretty easily grab a standard Starliner from the Brazig group. That would get you there in a reasonable period of time.
I still want to come as an individual with my own ship in case things went sideways. So let's stick with the runabout.
Okay, sounds good. Brazig would be happy to loan you a small craft if you wanted.
That's fine. That's actually better, yeah.
Okay. So you have one of Brazig's small craft. In specific, we have the Frenar 1. And in addition to being a standard Ferengi shuttle, its color scheme looks gilded. It's a bit audacious, but it is clearly a standard Ferengi kind of vessel.
Okay. Yeah.
And it does have the ability to tune down the audaciousness. So it has two settings. It has its full glory, and then it has more of a subdued, darker gilding kind of color scheme to it.
Is the more extravagant setting along the lines of, oh God, I can't remember the mortal's name in Ragnarok, Jeff Goldblum's character.
The Grandmaster?
Grandmaster, thank you. Yes. It's not at that level of the fireworks and stuff like that.
No, it doesn't have like fireworks or any of those fun things.
Okay.
It was designed to be a status symbol. Brazzik understanding what he also does, he knows how to be subtle in the right areas and right time. It is a scale 2 warp capable shuttle. It has comms 8, engines 12, structure 12, computers 8, sensors 7, weapons 4, command, con, engineering, and security are each 1, and then 0 for medicine, 0 for science. It has 6 for shields. It has a resistance 2 and a crew support of 0. It has tractor beams, grapple cables, and phase pulse cannons. In addition to that changing color scheme thing, it has redundant systems and transport inhibitors.
Fantastic.
I assume you are not rolling in uniform, is that correct?
That is correct. I probably would be in some of the clothes that I would normally have worn on Soltak before. Probably also wearing a sort of a hooded jacket where the hood is actually fairly large. I'm thinking it would have a bit of support in the top of it so that it doesn't crack antennas, and also might, as it's pulled forward a little bit, it might actually mask what race I might actually be.
As far as personal equipment that you wish to take,
That's a great question. I would definitely be bringing a phaser. Obviously, I have my Chantor. Communicator, tricorder, not much else.
okay.
Probably some physical credits, because I'm sure that there's still people on the outpost that only deal in hard currency.
Absolutely. Frontier Colony, Soltec out on the peripheries is always going to be one of those places where hard credits will be a thing. Given that, we open as you are coming out of warp into the Soltec system. You approach, you see your favorite Federation way station, and the screen pops up and asks to confirm your registry.
I guess I will provide it, because this would be to a Starfleet that I'd be
Yes.
doing it. I would be interested in finding out either now or after the fact whether or not my arrival tripped any flags, if any alerts were sent out or anything like that, if someone was notified.
Okay. On the screen is a security officer. You're looking at somebody whose uniform is disheveled, hair's a mess. They're basically in kind of shabby condition. And then you see them trying to straighten up their uniform. That never happens. Sir? Lieutenant Collard? I have no idea why the view screen came on.
So the antenna does the equivalent of the eyebrow raise. And Lieutenant Claude, any issues with me landing?
Absolutely not, sir. I don't know what this system is doing, sir. And you see him feverishly typing. And, sir, you wouldn't by chance happen to know anything about security protocols?
I've been known to dabble. Is there something I can assist you with?
Why, sir, if you wouldn't mind, can you transport over and help me figure this out? I'd rather not get in trouble with my first solo shift.
I will be on board. And he's on that space station that the Vulcan was on before, yes?
Correct. Unless you're doing something first, we'll start with you beaming aboard.
No, yeah, I think I am possibly prepared for walking into a trap simply because of the fact that we are where we are. They already mentioned that something's already going wrong over there, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know this person, and I'm not going to trust them until we at least have a face-to-face.
Certainly. All right, so you beam aboard. If you recall, it's a relatively small station, so transporter is like right off of the command center for the station. The lights down the hall point you to where the command center is. You go in and you see him kind of at the main console, typing, "Sir, have you ever seen this?" It's like on automatic. It's like the second your name flagged when you gave us or your registry, it started doing things.
So I guess I will not have to dig into that later. So the video screen thing hasn't been happening before.
No. He points out that he rarely ever needs to turn on the video screen. It's a civilian colony. He simply checks registries, logs them, and that's fine. When the registry of the ship was logged was fine, but you as the pilot, when you hit your name, the screen automatically came on, and then a separate security protocol began. And he has no idea what it is. And he's like, "I'm trying to stop it." He says, "Sir, this can't be legitimate."
So I want to see if I can log in and figure out what it's actually doing.
So to determine what it's doing, that would be a difficulty 3 task with
Okay.
a complication 19 and 20.
Got it. All right. So I do have a focus in security systems. I'm going to guess this is a security reason.
Sounds good.
Don't have momentum to spend. I'm going to leverage my contact specialist trait. That is once per adventure, I can create a trait without requiring a task or spending any momentum, threat, or determination. The trait must reflect information, resources, or access to a location provided to me by various contacts or what have you. The trait that I want to create is I was ready for this. And what this will allow me to do is I will gain an additional momentum for any scenario like this where the watchers are being watched.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to have to spend a threat for this.
I like it. I like when you spend threat. That works for me.
Okay, and I rolled a 1, 1, and a 17. That is 4 successes.
All right.
So it's difficulty 3. So I have generated 2 momentum. And because I have the intense species trait, there's an additional one. So I have 3 momentum, 1 of which I have to spend.
Okay.
I believe I can spend 1 for the gather additional information, but let's see what I've got with just the basic success.
Absolutely. So what you find out is that this is basically a recording protocol. It's not even designed to send, it's a recording protocol. And what you're able to determine is the bridge officers of the Delamas Christian and or the Delamas Christians registry and or the registry of any of the Delamas Christians shuttles are logged into the system. So basically, whenever you pass this system or log in at this station, it registers your presence. It doesn't send it anywhere. So at some point, somebody must come here to retrieve this information and bring that back, which is an interesting security protocol.
Can I see when it was created? Was this before or after Janok was here?
And that would be a momentum spend.
Yeah.
So spending your 1 that has
The
to be
free
spent.
one, yeah.
All right. So the answer is it was the last thing Janok did.
Okay.
But I will give you one extra thing. That particular setup, he took a propagating copy. So that could happen at any station he went to and set up to do so.
Okay.
It will only work on Federation stations, though, and specifically Federation security stations such as this, and which there are not a ton of. This is something that they used to have and were largely set up during some of the recent conflicts over the past 20 years, Dominion War, Cardassian border wars. So those tend to be the areas where you find the most of them. In other words, a lot more in and around Aslan Station are likely to have that protocol.
Got it. But it was specific to the DC, not the entire patrol group.
Correct. And based on the time frame, it seems like Janok knew you guys were coming for him, and he set it up before you took him captive.
Got it. Okay. I will make sure that I have a copy of this on a data pad or what have you, just so that I can give it to the folks on the DC to make sure that we're maybe we're able to detect it or write a filter for it or do our own thing with it.
And would you like to stop it?
Does it look like it has any fail safes that then it would notify somebody?
So that would be a difficulty of 2 challenge.
Okay. Let's give it a whirl.
Before you do that, he would have been helping you. So I need to make
Yes.
his roll to see if you get any additional momentum out
Oh,
of that.
perfect. Yes. Okay.
He did get a chevron, so you do get 2 extra momentum on that challenge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I have a total of 4 momentum at this point.
That is correct.
Okay. And I'm going to assume that the trait lasts the entire episode, but doesn't last past the episode.
Correct.
Okay. All right. If that's the case, then I'm going to do the same thing I did before, but instead of buying a die with threat, I'm going to buy it with momentum.
Roger that.
So I got a total of 4 successes on that.
He gets a 10. So you get 5 successes there as well. Sorry, it puts you at 7, and you can only have 6.
Okay, awesome. So I have to do more with it. All right, so I am trying to figure out whether or not it's phoning home if I delete it, and if so, I think the extra momentum will be where.
So it is not phoning anyone, but you can tell that it is checked on a semi-regular basis, like roughly once a month.
So when would the next check coming?
About a
Would that
month
be-
from now. It was checked a couple days ago.
Okay. So when you say it gets checked, that means that someone connects to it and
Yep.
okay.
It's not a physical connection, but basically a vessel has to come here, park, register, and when they're registering, it basically downloads the information from the previous month.
So here's what I want to do. I want to piggyback something on this.
Okay.
I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do this with him sitting right here. So I will look at him and I will tell him, so it appears that you have a hacker. I suspect that it had a lot to do with my father's presence on this world, dealing with some of the less savory groups here. Or it could have been more geared towards me. Anything's possible. What I'm going to do is see if I can let us know who's picking it up. And I will start to do that. And as I'm doing that, I will instruct him that he should be aware of the nature of his predecessors, how that person ended up.
Yes, sir. He was a disgrace to the uniform, sir. Personally, very frustrated to read the reports of what took place prior to being assigned here. You should know that in the time since your last visit here under that individual, the entire security team here had been changed out.
Regardless, given that investigations are still ongoing with that, if this fires up again, either because someone else comes through or somebody comes to collect the data, and I give him the information to send something to me, I'm also going to tell him to send it to Frank, the XO of the Faraday, and
Okay.
also to the XO aim for here for the marathon.
Okay.
I think I trust best enough to loop them in that, and sending it to the marathon keeps this sort of above board and at the same time throws that flag out that
There's something going on.
yeah, there's something going on. So, but
Sir, but you don't want to stop it?
no, but I am going to put something in to let you know and let us know that it's been triggered again or that someone's collected the logs. I'm not sure that my coming here hasn't already been noticed. I logged the trip with Starfleet.
Roger that.
So I will do that that last piece, and I don't remember if we rolled for that yet.
We did not.
Okay.
So the difficulty on this is about the same. It's going to be a 3 with your trait. It's going to bring it down to a 2. However, complication range, I'm going to spend some threat, bringing me down to 2 threat. And that will make this particular complication range an 18, 19, and 20.
Okay. You said it was 3?
It was 3, but with your trait, it drops it to a 2
I'm
difficult.
still going to buy actually, I'm at 6 momentum now. Yes.
Correct.
I'm going to spend, I think it's 3 momentum to get 2 extra dice.
Yes.
So that would be 3 successes,
Okay.
which would be 2 momentum because of the trait.
And the lieutenant is unable to assist you on this one. He tries his best, but he's just not that good.
Okay. So what I'd like to do is, and I'm not sure the terminology in the system, but what I want to do is give this sort of change a trait of its own that's undetectable. And actually, yeah, I'd like to make sure that it's hidden as much as possible.
Okay.
So I'll spend whatever, whether it's 2, 3, I'm not sure what.
It would be 2 momentum to create that trait, and that would be a potency of 1. Or you could spend another 2 to make it a potency of 2. Leaving you with 1 momentum.
Leaving me with 1 momentum? No, I'll leave it at the potency of 1.
So untraceable hack 1 is the trait. We will be
Actually, you know what? I'm thinking about this. I do want to pull my own name out of that because I just realized that it may be just one-time thing that they need to know about.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like if they find out, oh, he came back, we no longer have to watch this, then it doesn't do me any good.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm going to consider that part of the rolls, and the momentum's already spent. I'm not going to charge you extra for that.
Perfect.
I'm going to consider that part of the momentums and rolls you already did.
And the final thing that I will do before I leave the station is as I stand up from the console, I'll look at the lieutenant and reach over and fix his Starfleet badge before I head back to the transporter pad.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
With that, we're going to end the scene. And so 1 momentum goes away. You're at 2. We open with you landing at the starport near the capital, not terribly far from where you would normally be going to see Ike. However, as you land and start going through customs, so to speak, and just before you leave the security area, you hear somebody say, "Gosh."
So I will nod to my friend and
Inside the shop that's titled the Port Lux Outpost, you see Osh there, and the Port Lux Outpost is the equivalent of a duty-free shop. Still within the security area that we would find at an airport. It's kind of like that kind of shop, and you see in the stalls, and you see him with like a little name badge, and you can see the scowl on his face.
So I won't call any attention to the fact I've recognized him or anything like that, but I will enter the shop, grab a bottle of water or something like that.
We have the good stuff in the back.
Oh, why don't you show me?
Of course. He ushers you into a room that could be best described as humidor. And while you're in there, there's posh couches, there's a little bar, all the good things. And the door closes, and you see him touch a button like the glass frost.
I wondered what they did with Caleb's setup.
Yeah, so I work here now. I don't have the bar anymore.
Why are you back? I thought you were taking your wife out of this place.
I did. She's safe. But I had to come back.
Why did you have to come back?
Yeah, there's stuff to be done.
Okay.
The humans have these things they used to call comic books. One of my regulars used to talk to me about it all the time. Something about evil never sleeps and all that.
And I'm looking at him again, the antenna doing the thing that the eyebrow is raised in this sort of, I'm expecting something facial expression.
Yeah. So this is the only thing I could find on short notice to keep myself in an area where I can see comings and goings.
You're safe.
Usually. But you're here now. So I'm either safer or in mortal danger. What brings you home?
I thought you did.
He hands you two cigars. One seems quite regular and normal. He clips the top off of it, lights it. He goes, I hate smoking myself, but the smell is kind of nice. It's like incense. And he waves it very close to his eye patch. And there's almost like a cloud of fog. He then hands you the other one, says, put that in your pocket for later.
I do so.
He pats it 3 times, 4 times, and 1 time. And then he says, at any rate, some of the best we have. So when you're headed back, go ahead and grab some. And then he starts to head out. And as he was saying that, you notice that the smoke had cleared from in front of his eye patch.
Okay. So this is me, Adam, being a little obtuse, because I recognize that's a clear signal that I should have noticed something, but Adam's not picking up on it.
Sure. What are your foci again?
Criminal organizations might come to mind, clandestine operative.
So that smoke had a lot of specific particulate matter, and it clearly could be used to obfuscate something. And if you'd like to make a roll, I'll give you more details.
Okay.
Difficulties 2 on this one.
I think this would probably be security insight,
Sure.
since I'm trying to figure it out.
Yep.
And you said difficulty 2?
Yep.
Okay, I'll spend a momentum to get an extra die.
Alrighty.
Okay, that's 2 successes.
All right.
Actually, sorry, 3, because one of them's a 3 on the die.
Excellent. So that gets you that momentum back. Basically, there's a metal, which is why he didn't smoke it, by the way. There's a highly reflective and slightly irradiated metal that will obfuscate optical recording devices. By waving it in front of his eyes, he's indicating that there's a recording device in his eye patch that's watching what's going on.
Got it.
And he was obfuscating it so they didn't see what he gave you.
Oh, so he's been compromised. Did tell me it's 341. Okay. So if he didn't call me here, I'm going to head into the outpost proper. Take one of the less noticeable ways to my father's old office,
Okay.
which would effectively be what his home was. Whether or not we were getting rid of it, or if we were, it just, I don't know that I would have been in any rush to have done so.
I wouldn't assume that you got rid of it at all.
Wouldn't have? Yeah, because that would have required me to spend some time here cleaning the place out. So like I said, I will be trying to enter the area from a less visible location, just
Okay.
not from the main street.
I would say con security on that. And as you now know, you are being watched. Your difficulty is a 3, and your complication range is 19 and 20.
Okay, I'll use the operative focus for this, and I will spend a momentum again. It's 2 6s. I want to try to re-roll that. You said it was a difficulty of 3?
Yep.
Okay, so I just make it.
All right. You get into the house. You're relatively confident that you were not observed doing so. And you know you're entering the planet. That record was removed.
Need to get myself some false identities. So give the place a quick once over to make sure it's not bugged or anything like that.
Okay.
And then I turn on some sort of like radio or something to have static in the background.
Okay.
I guess I'm going to examine this cigar.
Sure. Go ahead and check through the house. And one, at the end of your check, you're confident that there's no bugs. The house is secure. But when you were doing your check, you did notice that there were communication messages that were sent to the house that hadn't been opened or received. Most of them seemed pretty standard, but there was one from a manufacturing company that basically is providing singing androids for homes that have elderly people that don't have family present so that they have someone to assist them. And basically, they're saying you just have to go ahead and acknowledge the offer, and one will be sent to maintain a household.
We never really got too deep into the illness that my father died from, but was it something that was debilitating over time, or was it just one of those when it was time, it was going to be pretty quick that everything deteriorated?
So his health had declined quite a bit for a while. The specific illness was a little bit more sudden than anticipated, but he was nearing an age where something was likely to happen at some point. And once your daughter had moved away, went to the academy,
She never lived with him. She lived on Andoria. Yeah.
yeah. So once she was not spending as much time here because she's at the academy and such, him getting some assistance would have probably come up at some point, whether it was a doctor recommending it or
Okay. And maybe I misunderstood, but was it that they were sending stuff out to a whole bunch of families, like they're rolling them out?
yes, they're rolling them out in this area.
Does it mention anything about what this is going to? I don't, it's the Federation, so cost is not really a factor for this stuff, but whether or not there was any sort of expectations on that kind of thing.
Just that basically that folks here just report back if there are any problems, questions, or concerns. This is like a beta test of the program. If it worked
Hmm.
well, this would be a way to help people all over.
This is a kind of a out of the way place to be doing a beta test.
Yep.
Yes, okay, so I'm not mistaken that it's a little odd, but not necessarily.
Yeah, it does not seem targeted. These were
Yeah,
form letters that were clearly sent out to lots of places. So it's not targeted, but it is odd. But being that the house is largely empty, having something or someone
yeah,
to keep an eye on it probably wouldn't be a bad idea. And we're not talking sentient Sunian androids. We're talking like
yeah. You're
the
talking, yeah,
non-sentients.
yeah. You're talking about the ones from the beginning of a card.
Yep.
All right. So that being said, I've got this cigar and this cryptic set of numbers.
Yep.
Give the thing a shake to see if it's got anything in it. I'll go through my father's old stuff and get some sort of, I bet you he probably has an old school style gas mask kind of thing. I'll look through his stuff and be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to put that on, but I definitely have it nearby just in case. But I take out some of his old investigation tools and whatnot, his forensics kits. And I'll give the cigar a little bit of shake next to my ear to see if there's anything in like a container inside of it or anything like that. Or
So there's not anything inside of it. However, what should be a paper band is actually a physical ring. And it's got like tech stuff on it. And looking at it, it looks like it's some kind of high-tech jump drive of sorts.
got
You
it. Should be able to plug that into the data pad that I have. So,
Absolutely.
oh, that reminds me, I'll have to requisition a data pad to replace the one that I took from the satellite. Because I just realized I probably took his data pad because I didn't bring one. But I'll see if I can plug that into the drive. And I'm pretty sure that with the technology, it's literally just the pads on the table, and I put the ring on top of it, and the display, does the whole circle around the ring, and lines come out from it with certain text things. And
Yep. And then it pops up a nice little hologram. And basically, it's Ike, and he says, I'm being watched. And I can't tell you exactly how or why, but I can say I've got the info that you need. I've tracked Ebony Knox to a shuttle yard. They build shuttles there. It's an industrial complex that builds shuttles. However, they specifically build personal use shuttles, high end, the type that goes to people who don't want to be caught or seen, whatever they do. Embedded in this ring are the coordinates for the location and the first 36 keystrokes for their security system. Should be enough if you're on site and can analyze the entry to bypass their security and get in. Last I knew before this happened to me, the authorities just needed evidence that any of the known listed people on the most wanted list for Ebony Knox are present. If you find evidence that links any of those known people to that location, they can shut it down.
And by authorities, he's talking about the local governor, who I believe is Governor Pillot. That's who he would be referring to.
It does not specifically say, but that's who you think he would be referring to.
Okay. And I think she's trustworthy because of the conversations that Tobor had with her. All right. So I'm going to start going through my father's gear, see if I can find his rangefinder. I'm sure he has things like a long-range recording device. I envision my first thought is to see if I can find someplace nearby, use some sort of telescoping lens and do the whole, snap, snap, picture, picture, picture kind of thing.
Okay.
But if that doesn't work, I'll probably need to try to sneak in there. But that's not my first option because I'm flying solo and there's going to be some security there. But I do want to see that would be my first option, is to basically find an area that I can stake out and see whether or not any of these people ever come out in the open.
So actually, additional information on the ring
Yep.
does that. It actually gives you the specs of the location, diagram of the location, gives you typical watch schedules, and there is at least one erratic patrol at any given time.
Okay.
But they tend to patrol in groups of one, occasionally two.
Okay. And when you say patrols, how far out are they going?
So the facility is fairly large, but they generally only patrol around the main hangar where finished and active shuttles are. So there's production facilities, there's offices, there's equipment storage, there's receiving, and then they've got a couple shuttle pads and such. And then they have a fusion generator for the facility. So it's probably 5, 6 buildings total. Not a small complex, but not an overly large complex either.
Okay.
But generally speaking, the patrols are around the hangar and the offices that are in there.
Okay. So I think what I would be looking for is the patrols would probably go around. These are patrols that would go in and about the facility, in and about their campus, we'll call it.
Correct.
Do they don't come out, they're not patrolling the outside of the campus, are they?
No, they're definitely only patrolling inside the fence.
Okay. So I would be seeing if I can find a topological map or something along those lines of the area to see whether or not there's a place where I can get a bird's eye view of the campus And like I said, with the whatever we call
With
the
the gear.
binoculars in this setting,
Yeah.
with those to see if I can use that to do some reconnaissance. I
There are several, yeah, there are several places where you can get a good view of the campus, but the hangar is dead center in the middle of it and obscured by
Okay.
the other buildings.
And we think that anybody that we would want to find would be in the hangar area.
Correct.
All right. As much as I don't necessarily want to try to James Bond this thing, I think I have to James Bond this thing. Okay. Guess I'm gonna have to head out into that area, and we'll gear up with a few other pieces of equipment that my father might have had in the building. I'm trying to think of the kinds of stuff that he would have. Don't think he would have an armory, but he might have some things for, I don't even want to call it crowd control. But I'm trying to figure out, trying to justify whether I suggest if he had any sort of like smoke grenade style things or anything that would be used to get the jump on people that he was going to try to deal with. And I'm going to say no, I don't think he would, because that doesn't feel like the Andorian way. So I'm talking myself out of it. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to try to James Bond this and sneak my way in.
Okay.
But with the maps and the surveillance and whatnot, I am going to see if I can try to find a location that I can time where the patrols are, where that erratic one is, so that I can get to an entrance that is least likely to be seeing me breaking in through.
Okay. So I would say con security, and that would be a 3.
3 difficulty?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to spend the momentum. Con security, you said. Wait, not can't be con security because they're both disciplines. You know what? I never get to use this. How about daring security?
I'm down with that.
Yeah, because I never use daring security. I never use daring for anything.
Yep.
All right, so there's that.
Yeah, it could be daring or control, and it would be con or security would be the department.
Okay.
So either however you want to do it, but daring security works fine.
Well, re-rolling that one. And you said it was a 3?
Yep.
Math is 13. So that is 3.
Sweet.
You know what I'd like to do?
Go for it. What would you like to do?
I'm going to give you a threat to use my well-informed talent.
Okay.
And I am going to ask you 2 questions about the situation or location as if I had spent momentum on the obtain information spent.
Okay.
Am I able to get information on any of the guards that are assigned to this area, like who works here, and whether or not any of them are, I don't want to say bribable, but there's something that I might be able to use against them if they're the ones that happen to see me.
So the fast answer is you can get info on the guards. They're not bribable. Ebony Knox just has that ironclad, like everybody's
Yep.
scared of them kind of thing. So they do bad things to people, their families, and such. That you would know, but you do know who they are.
Okay, so if that's the case, then can my second question be, is there a name of somebody in the Ebony Knox who is an Andorian that would not likely be on this world, be stationed on this world?
So
Because
they're
because push comes to shove, if there's somebody, if someone says, "Who the hell are you?" I will attempt to drop that name and get in there, do the whole, "Oh, you don't know who I am? I'm this person."
ooh, good call. Okay. So yes, there would be at least 1 or 2 Andorians that you could use, and you would be able to, with that momentum spend, get that name. Do you need me to grab a name?
I actually just did that. I'm trying to actually make one that's going to be easy to pronounce because you know me, I've got to go to the authentic names. Or I like that in first name. Oh, that's a relatively easy one. That's first name Ravon, last name Chalranis. And if it was me running the game, I would let that choice bite me in the ass later on down the road. That's the danger with coming up with a named NPC is now there's a named NPC.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, so armed with that information, armed with that, I guess I'm just going. Do the whole watch the place for an hour or three to get a sense of paths that these folks are taking. How far out of the outpost proper is this area?
It's on the outskirts. It is by definition out away from most things. It is not like a lonely dirt road and it's the only thing on the dirt road. It's not like that, but
Okay,
it
so I'm
is
not having to find, I'm not riding out there for like an hour with a one of those, whatever those, the sky bikes or whatever they had.
yeah, it's pretty easy to get to, but it's kind of like the outpost is set up kind of like there's an industrial area, there's a residential area, there is a business and commerce area, and then there's like a tourist area. They're loosely defined, and you tend to get a lot of bleed at the borders of any of the given areas. Ike's Bar was actually at the intersection of the industrial and the less privileged residential areas. So this is beyond that by a bit, but not terribly far. And this is sci-fi. So, transit is really not an issue. Transit and not being seen in transit, especially where there seems to be protocols to keep an eye on you, makes it a bit of a circuitous route, ducking, dodging, all those types of things. To the point where your first roll is going to be to bypass surveillance and not be seen. And again, difficulty 3, I'm going to spend a threat to make 19 and 20 our complication range.
Okay, what's the momentum and threat at this point?
Threat is 1, momentum is 1.
Okay. Standard difficulty on this?
No, I spent threat, so it's 19 and 20 for complication range, but the
Right.
difficulty is 3.
Difficulty still 3. All
Yep.
right. Just to mix things up a little bit, this would be fitness and security.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna spend a threat to get and the extra die this time.
I dig it.
Now, is because I don't know, we weren't that specific at the very beginning of this, but the whole I know you're on to me trait, is that still in effect? Would that
It
apply here?
is. It does apply. So that brings it down to 2.
Okay. So I'm still going to spend the threat.
Okay.
That would be a good thing because it's 2 successes.
Excellent. So because you did this,
Again. Yeah, I just missed. I have a 14 on that and I rolled a 15.
okay. Because you use fitness, this is literally an issue of you wearing that kind of hooded get up that you had mentioned, which obscures your
Yeah.
face. So you don't have to worry about being seen that way. But this is the 24th century, right? So the way you walk, the way you move, gesture, all that stuff is recorded. And if somebody's looking for you, they'll
Yeah.
just key AI to look and pick up that pattern. So where
Mhm.
physical comes in is you are physically operating in a way to change your standard pattern. So you're walking a little bit different, heavier on your left than you would normally walk. You're positioning your body in a way that looks like you're shorter than you actually are, and you're walking and that. So it is even less about avoiding cameras. It's actually being seen in some cameras being different than you are, and then not being seen for a while, and then being seen again later on until you get where you're going. So basically, there's no real good gauge, and you're changing it up every time. So sometimes you're shorter, sometimes you're taller, sometimes you're fatter, sometimes you're skinnier. You're just operating in a way that it's going to make it very hard for them to.
Okay.
You've probably seen 4 or 5 people moving in various different. No AI is going to pick them out as the same person. That's how good you were at that. So when you arrive in an area that should have no camera or sensor coverage,
Yep.
you are there, and
Yep.
there is a
So,
security system to access the facility.
okay. So there was a bonus momentum that I got from that, but I had to spend it. and I can't think of anything that I would spend it on, so it just goes away.
Okay.
So I know the first couple numbers of the key. I will see whether or not that the data pad can crack the rest.
So that would be a hacking roll.
Okay. I do have a focus in security systems. That would be security and reason.
All right. Your difficulty is 3, no additional complication range. Because you have the data pad and the lead code, that's its own trait between those two things. So the difficulty drops to 2 for you.
Okay. I'm going to spend a momentum to get another dive.
Okay. You're down to 0 momentum. I have 2 threat.
Wow. Okay. So that is 4 because I got a 5 on one of the dice.
Nice.
Yes. 10, 11, and 5.
So it came down to a 2 with 4. That gives you 2 momentum. Your particular bypass basically takes you out of notice. So they won't recognize that it's off. It's just not tracking you.
Okay.
If anybody who did not have the clandestine operations type of foci and the setup that your character has had made the exact same role, I would have been, you're able to shut it off and get in, and you have X amount of time to get through the other area. You're an agent. You've been an agent. This is stuff you learned when a young buck. So.
And we also, I think we established that I had gone down that extra year of, I forget what the training in the academy was. It was one of the command paths that took the extra year.
Yeah. So you successfully access the facility. You know that security won't pick you up or identify you unless you set some other kind of manual or physical alarm. But it's not
Okay.
going to ping as you're walking around. It's not picking you up.
Okay.
Say that would build a echo protocol.
Let's use it.
So let's use it, baby. You've accessed the facility. You've made your way to the building in question. At this point, you're able to get into the building fine. You have the schematics. Within the building, there's a couple big areas. There's the main hangar itself. There's the offices. There is a computer room. Think of it like a sci-fi of a server room.
Yep.
There's some storage rooms. And then there's some storage lockers, basically giant cages for gear. And those two things are off of the main hangar. You do know, based on what you've been able to tell, that there are 2 shuttles in there. And when you get in, you can even check the registries on those shuttles to see if they ping anything that would be necessary, because that might be potential evidence. And again, the mission is find evidence that Ebony Knox associates are present or have been present, and provide that evidence. And then that will be enough to get the proper warrants and such to shut this down.
Yep. Okay.
And I should add, because it's non-Federation authorities, they don't have the specifics. You don't need a warrant to get the evidence. But if you get caught, now you're in trouble for trespassing. So that is an important legal bit for anybody listening. It's not, if you had the warrant, can you just go in? That's not how this works.
Yeah. If I had a warrant, I wouldn't be sneaking.
Exactly.
So part of me wants to hit the computer core first. In the hangar and the computer core. However, it is far more likely that I'm going to trip something in the computer core. So let's deal with the hangar first. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't want to be seen. So I guess I'm going to have to stealth, do the full-on sneak, tuck and roll, and do the whole John Belushi Animal House.
Yeah, ninja roll and whatnot. I will say this is not D&D, so we're not doing stealth check every round. I'm going to consider the fact that you've already passed your stealth check, but to do the other things while doing that stealth check, that makes things more difficult. So being stealthy while doing the rest of this stuff is going to be its own trait. So basically canceling out, you're ready for this.
Got it.
When you get to the hangar, you just want to go ahead and you can see the registries, you can see what's there, get a scope for what's going on.
Yeah, let's get the registries.
Yep.
There doesn't seem to be any sort of assemblies going on to these ships that would be dramatically illegal. bionetic weapons being installed on the ship?
No, in fact, one of the two ships seems to be parked in such a way that it is set up for receiving passengers. Both are passenger shuttles versus cargo shuttles. You can see that the cargo hatches are in fact open, so it does look as though they have cargo in them, like they've been loaded. So that does give you an indication that one of those erratic patrols may be, in fact, somewhere nearby, simply because generally when VIPs get on these types of shuttles in private hangars, there's usually security guards that kind of secure the vehicles and then basically open up the building for them. So there'll be a guard who hangs out in the lounge area. The pilots show up, the pilots come in, do their checks. Then when the VIP show up shortly thereafter, then everybody gets loaded on and security be present for all of that. So they're likely to be security at some point in the near future.
Okay, but you're saying that there isn't here now, so they're not immediately
Correct.
prepping for some sort of launch. Got
Correct.
it.
Based on what
Yeah.
you see, you can make a command con roll to get an idea of when that might be.
Oh yeah.
So that's going to
Command
be
command. It would be con, but what would it be for an attribute?
oh, I'm sorry, insight probably.
Got it. 10. That's one success.
Okay. Not enough to really get that nailed down with one. I
Yeah.
forgot. I didn't get a chance to say it would be a two, but
Oh,
um,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah. So the only thing you can tell is that yeah, it's going to happen, but you don't really have an idea if it's imminent or it's going to be a couple hours. But you'd say
But I'm not seeing the
it's
security guards there.
you're not hearing footsteps, but it's probably not going to be more than
Okay.
4 hours.
All right. So in the hangar itself, there's nothing really that I'm going to be getting out of what's here aside from the basic makeup of the ships and the registry information. Just on the off chance, does the registry seem in any way like it would shift, or all I can think of is there was an old 80s movie where, like in the spycraft movies, they would hit a button and the license plate would change.
Yeah. Nothing like that is necessary at this point, but
It's one of
or
those
is
like,
here.
okay, yeah, I don't know that they would actually do that because 90% of the identification would be done electronically anyways.
That yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything that would do anything like that. There might be transponder stuff, but that's all
Yeah.
electronic, nothing external that you would see.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
one thing that you do notice is once you snap those pictures, put them in, is that one of the two shuttles, the one that's prepped to launch, is the shuttle that the Aegis team had reported to you several months ago. That's the ship that got away that was trying to bring that gas to disrupt diplomatic talks on that space station from a few months back. And that ship was confirmed to be Ebony Knox. So that would be big piece of evidence number one.
Okay. I will mutter to myself, kids did good. Ocean is like a bit older than most of the other new characters.
Oh yeah, and all those were, I think, with the exception of one of them, they were all like ensigns and lieutenant
Yeah.
JGs.
Yeah. So, at the registry, let's hit the computer core. This what could go wrong.